So this deck is inspired by the Renounced Darkness Warlock deck that I played recently, where the only two minions were Barnes and Y'Shaarj. Turns out it's pretty fun to just slam Barnes on turn 4 and instantly win the game sometimes. In this deck we're less all in on Y'Shaarj, but we do still play him because he's pretty nutty. We're also going for a N'Zoth component. We're playing some pretty crazy death rattles like Anub'arak, Sylvanas, even Twilight Summoner. There's also Blood Mage Thalnos, not too crazy, but still a pretty good card to get off Barnes. And I think just too good of a card to not play in Rogue. So the game plan is to play Barnes on turn 4, pull something pretty crazy, and win the game off of it. If the game goes late, we have crazy value in Anub'arak, or we just have a great finisher in N'Zoth or the Y'Shaarj. And hopefully in the games where we don't draw Barnes, we can survive the early turns with our pretty good Rogue spells. I'm not playing Karen Bloodhoof in this list, mostly just because I don't think it's needed. I think I have enough good death rattles. The deck is pretty greedy as it is, so I don't think a slow card like Karen Bloodhoof is really necessary. And if we're just looking at the Barnes turn, Twilight Summoner is a better card than Karen Bloodhoof anyway. And in the games where I actually have to draw this card and play it, it costs 2 less mana than Karen Bloodhoof. I think it's a better option. For the most part, the spells in the deck are all pretty self-explanatory, I think. Cards like Backstab and Eviscerate, they're just good cards, so you play them. But Shadow Step is a little bit interesting. It means you can use Barnes or N'Zoth multiple times. Journey Below is a really good card in a deck like this, because it kind of gives you minions that don't interfere with your Barnes combos, and the minions that you get just happen to also work really well with N'Zoth. And Burgle is another card that can give us some minions without interfering with our Barnes. So it's possible that this deck should be playing Undercity Huckster. It's a pretty decent card off Barnes, but it's not crazy. And we're kind of going for crazy, but if you feel like you really need some more early game, maybe Undercity Huckster is a pretty good consideration. It also happens to work pretty well with N'Zoth. Azure Drake is another card that should be a consideration. It's pretty bad off Barnes, but you do get the spell damage, which is okay. But generally, Azure Drake is just such a good card in Rogue. Sometimes it kind of feels bad to not play it. But if you start playing Hucksters and Azure Drakes, I feel like you're just kind of getting closer to a more standard N'Zoth Rogue. And that's not very interesting, so I just want to play Barnes and pull out ridiculous things.
Valera versus Rexa. Let the hunt begin.
Watch your back.
I really want Barnes in the opener, like every single game, but I don't think I can justify tossing back a Backstab against an aggressive deck like Hunter.
Such big teeth I have.
I have a few plays here. I can make a dagger and pass, make a dagger, hit this and backstab it, or shiv this and backstab it. I think the default play is like dagger backstab, but I really want to try to draw into Barnes, so I think I'm actually going to go for the shiv backstab. Sylvanas is a pretty poor pickup. I think most hunters now are playing Cloaked Huntress, so if that comes down this turn I have the Shadow Strike, but it looks like he just actually has a pretty poor turn. I think I'm just going to shiv him to draw a card here. I think since I have the Thalnos in my hand already, I'm going to hold on to the fan for maybe a pretty decent AoE. I don't really want to leave up the Secret Keeper. That card can get out of hand pretty fast. Although he did spend his last turn just hero powering. I don't think he would have held a secret in his hand on the off chance that he would pull out Secret Keeper with Barnes. So there are actually a lot of plays here. I could go for Thalnos Coin Fan. I guess I would play a Backstab along with that. I could just Shadow Strike this guy. I could Shadow Strike Dagger into this. Just throw down the Twilight Summoner. I think since my deck is pretty late game, and I don't have any heals, it's fairly important to just not take that much damage. So I think I do want to kill his stuff. I think I'm just going to go for the Shadow Strike Coin Dagger here though. It's a pretty efficient clear. Unfortunately, I give up my coin so I can't play Sylvanas next turn, but I do have the Twilight Summoner. A tiger is kind of annoying though. Well, I guess the only play here is just slam down the Summoner and pass. There's Barnes, but I think Barnes is going to be too slow here. Probably need some kind of clear. Thalnos, Eviscerate the High Main, Backstab Fan actually looks pretty nice. I think that's got to be the way to go. This is actually a very good clear. It may have been correct to use my Twilight Summoner there, just pop the Death Rattle so I have an actual threat on my board. It's hard to say, but I think I should have cashed in on the Death Rattle. Like, if he just plays a big minion here, then how do I even contest it? I mean, I have the Assassinate now, but probably would have been pretty nice to have a real minion on the board. Drawing into the Anub'arak there is kind of bad. Makes my Barnes a lot worse. I was planning on playing Barnes here. So I don't think there's any way you play Explosive Trap into this board, right? Probably freezing. Maybe Cat Trick, maybe Snipe. So the question is, do I play Sylvanas or Barnes here? I think I'm gonna go for the Barnes. Barnes has a pretty good chance to pull out Yashiraj, which would be nutty. And Sylvanas just isn't really that good here, because he's already played Stranglethorn Tiger, he's already played one High Main. There's just like not that much stuff that Sylvanas can effectively get, or that she can effectively deal with. And I do have the Assassinate if he plays a big minion. It looks like with the second Eaglehorn Bow, and him being a hunter, I'm probably just gonna die to damage, won't be able to stabilize. I'm gonna go ahead and draw off the Thalnos here. So this lets me Deadly Poison into this guy, but I don't think I can afford to take the damage. I think I'm gonna have to send my Barnes into it. And I think I am just gonna pop these Death Rattles. I need to start applying some pressure with the 5/5s. So I guess it could... No, I just checked for Snake Trap, so it's not snakes. I'm just gonna pop these and play Sylvanas, I guess. Have I checked for Cat Trick yet? I don't think so, so it's probably Cat Trick. Actually, I think at this point it has to be Cat Trick. I'm representing a lot of damage, but he's also representing a lot of damage. Just being a hunter. If all goes well, I actually have lethal here. So if this is Freezing Trap, I don't mind attacking in. So if it's Explosive Trap, I just lose, even if I wait till next turn. Freezing Trap, I probably still die to Freezing Trap. 15, 16, 17, 18, 22. Oh right, it was Cat Trick. I guess I just had to send a minion into it. Well, that's embarrassing. Show me the kill command from hand so I don't feel bad. Alright, nice. Definitely misplayed, but... Wow, I was super dead.
Valera versus Uther. I will fight with honor.
Watch your back.
Hey, Paladin's a bad class. Maybe I can win this game.
Mind if I roll need?
A nice target for my weapon.
Here we go.
Unfortunately, even if I get Barnes into like Yashiraj Sylvanas or something ridiculous, Paladin can just have Pyro equality.
Let the pain speak to me.
Well, that Acolyte's annoying.
Here we go.
Probably would have just cycled Fan there if I could, but I don't want to give him extra draws out of the Acolyte. I guess I could have just shivved face. I think I'm okay going a little bit slow against a Paladin though. Unfortunately, my deck has pretty much zero counterplay against Murlocs. I guess I could Sylvanas Shadow Strike to steal a Murloc and then Shadow Step it and never play it. Well, he's playing Elise, so maybe he's not playing Murlocs. Maybe he's just playing some other Paladin garbage. I guess I just want to play a Shiv here to draw a card because my hand is worthless. I guess I'll start with backstabbing the Elise. Journey Below is a nice pickup, but do I want to play it here? I could just like dagger into this and then dagger up again. I don't know if I really want to take 9 damage off of this Elise.
Choose soon.
Might not have much of a choice.
Here we go. I can't do it.
I was actually kind of expecting that True Silver to go face there. He had the option to take a pretty aggressive route since this Elise is doing 9 damage to me. Looks like he didn't want to go for it though. I picked up the Thalnos so I can backstab the Acolyte in one shot. I guess that's a pretty decent route to take. I think I just take the Huckster here. I don't need more value out of this deck. Problem with this deck is never going to be not having enough value.
Here we go.
I'll just take a card I can actually play this turn.
Take heart. The Earth Mother is near.
Karen is pretty annoying for my deck to deal with. Might have to just sap it this turn. Maybe I can draw Sylvanas. Wow, I think I'm pretty happy to see that weapon usage. I guess I'll just start with the Burgle. I can't actually kill Karen here. Pretty worthless cards, honestly. I guess I'm just gonna sap it. Cards like that are the reason sap is in the deck.
Except the mice.
Take heart. The Earth Mother is near.
We're stealing an awful lot of terrible cards from this Paladin.
I have
But
no
Sylvanas
time
was a really nice draw. Guess I'll go ahead and develop this Sacred Trial. Honestly, it probably wasn't even worth playing it. Having a Sacred Trial in my hand to activate and eviscerate later on is probably more value than actually having the Sacred Trial in play. I guess Sacred Trial might kill N'Zoth, because he puts all the Battlecry garbage on the board before he actually hits the board. If he's dropping N'Zoth, I might just lose already though.
Mind if I roll need?
Reporting for
He's gonna let me steal the 4/5 with Sylvanas. Maybe he just figures if Sylvanas isn't stealing Tyrion or any other significant death rattle, he's okay with that. And he might be correct to be okay with that. Maybe I shouldn't have even played Sylvanas, because stealing death rattles from another N'Zoth deck has to be important. But I also didn't really just want to let that Karen punch me in the face every turn. I think I'm gonna give Sylvanas a Divine Shield. And then just use her to actually kill this and force him to have an answer to the 5/1. I think I will leave Eye for an Eye in my hand as a combo enabler. So his most likely answer to Sylvanas here is Consecration, but if he plays that, then my Twilight Summoner also pops. So it's kinda awkward for him.
tonight.
Wonder if I should Shadow Step my Sylvanas at some point, just to make sure I can steal a Tyrion or something. Wow. The Sacred Trial hit something. But it hit something that was probably going to die anyway. I think I actually am going to Shadow Step my Sylvanas here. Try to steal something relevant with it. I think the only big death rattle he's lost so far is Cairn. I'm not really sure why he's playing these Doomsayers. Like, it's not like he just wants to slam N'Zoth next turn. That doesn't really make any sense. I guess I'm gonna just go ahead and cycle the Fan and Knives here while I have nothing else to do. Shadow Strike is actually a nice pickup.
Let none survive.
Because I'm gonna pull back my Sylvanas here, I think. And then I can Sylvanas Shadow Strike to steal a Tyrion or something. And I guess I'm just gonna play this guy out.
Here we go.
If he pops, I'm okay with that. So his Doomsayer is gonna go off and I'm gonna have 10-10 on the board. Maybe I shouldn't have invested both of those Death Rattles into this because now he can have like some Consecration Clear on it. But it does guarantee that both of those Death Rattles go off before N'Zoth happens.
Put your faith in the light.
So since I Shadow Stepped my Sylvanas, I can steal his Tyrion here.
I have no time for games. Here we go.
I'm actually getting pretty close to lethal. Guess I'll just play out the Eye for an Eye here. Probably doesn't do much. But it does push a little bit of damage when I have all this power on board, Eviscerate in hand. This game sure seems to have turned around pretty quick.
I wonder.
So how much damage do I have here?
Here we
A
go.
lot. I'm just gonna hold back. No reason to play into an equality clear.
Don't test
Here we go.
He's just delaying the inevitable.
That belongs in a museum.
So I have lethal if I just bump Tyrion into the monkey and then Eviscerate face.
Tonight, a tale of terror.
Valir versus Garrosh.
victory or death.
Watch your back.
Warrior is what I like to see. This should be a winnable matchup. I've never played this matchup, but with two Old Gods and Anub'arak, I have to imagine that I'm favored if he's Control Warrior. It's gonna be a 30-minute game, but I think I should win. Why are you hovering over that card? You're not Pirate Warrior. Stop. I'm a little bit spooked, so I'm gonna Shiv Face to try to draw into something. I have to imagine that if he coined out a War Axe, he's an aggressive warrior.
X marks the spot.
Yeah, this game's gonna be a little bit rough, I think. If I don't draw an early Barnes, I don't think this game is winnable. Let's go ahead and take some damage off the board. Well, that's not the hero power I wanted to see. This This is close to what I wanted to draw. I wanted to draw Barnes into Yasharaj. Almost deck. Almost.
I can't do that.
Am I lagging or something? What's going on?
For the war chief!
I can't do that.
Gotta prep the Eviscerate and then spend 0 mana.
For the war chief! Fly, Polly!
Why is this hand so good?
I have no time for
Here
games.
we go.
Pirate Warrior is so good when your opponent does nothing for the first 6 turns.